So you're thinking about quitting your job, you're unhappy with the pay and you want to earn more money. You've seen tons of people online making 10 times what you're making for the same amount of work. Or maybe you just want more flexible work hours, you want to work remotely from home or abroad. Or you simply just hate your boss and you want to stick it to him. I get it, I've been there myself. I quit my job back in 2017. Now I come from a sales background. The last job title I had was Business Development Manager. At 23 years old, I was responsible for heading up the sales division for the company I was working for, bringing in new customers every single month. I was paid a respectable $50K per year for 40 hours of work per week, 9 till 5. Pretty standard stuff, but this was a pretty respectable job for a 23-year-old guy or girl in my local area, but I found it so depressing. Looking around me in the office every day were people twice my age doing the same they've been doing their entire lives with no ambition to progress any further, and I found that so unfulfilling and sad. Now, I thought I would be fulfilled by this job because of the money I was making. It was a respectable sum at 23 years old, but I wasn't. I was still working all year for one holiday that was over before it had even started. I couldn't enjoy the money I was earning, so it was pointless earning that amount. And so I started seeking to find ways that I could escape that job, that I could gain more freedom within my life. And I started looking into online business models, opportunities out there for me to quit my job as quickly as possible. And that's when I stumbled across something called social media marketing, which is simply the act of providing social media services to businesses and helping them to increase their revenue. Now, I was from a sales-based background. This made sense to me, and so I started immersing myself in the marketing space, and I managed to sign my first clients within 2 weeks of educating myself. I then quit my job because I replaced my outgoings, and the rest is history. I now have an advertising agency responsible for generating millions in new revenue for companies all over the globe every single month, and an education business that gives people the vehicle they need to escape the monotony in their everyday life. But granted, most of you might not be as fortunate as I was. I was in a situation where I could afford to invest my mornings and my evenings into a new career path. Some of you will have way more responsibilities than I did. Some of you will have kids or loved ones to look after. And so I recommend to everybody that is looking to quit their job to go through a thorough risk assessment process and weigh up the pros and cons before you do. And yes, all of the successful entrepreneurs will tell you that you need to take risks in your life, but you need to be sensible and realistic in the grand scheme of things. But ultimately, once we understand the risks, we eliminate the fear associated with quitting our job. Because fear is the only thing that's stopping you from making the decision to quit your job today. Fear of quitting your job and not making enough money from your business to provide for your loved ones, to pay for your mortgage, your rent, or your car, or even food. The fear of failure. Now, I'm going to give you some action steps for risk assessment in a moment, but before we do, I want you to check yourself. I want you to think about this hard, whether or not you understand why you want to quit your job, okay? Why do I want to quit my job? Why do I want this change of a career path? Why do I want to earn more money? Why do I want more freedom within my life? What is it that I want out of my life that is causing me to make this massive drastic change and move away from employment and start my business? Because you truly need to understand and wholeheartedly believe in yourself that starting a business is the right decision for you. Because starting a business is way more stressful than a job. Starting a business causes more problems in your life than employment ever will. Because nobody tells you this, because we all glamorize starting a business. But you will have to work harder in your business than you will in your job. When I first started my agency, I thought it would be plain sailing after a couple of months. I'd be completely passive living off a beach in Barbados. And I was completely wrong. Okay, you're constantly going through this cycle of saying yes to opportunities, not knowing how to fulfill them, learning about them, okay, the roller coaster of business, and it's never ending. And then you get sidetracked with a new idea and you start a new venture and you hire team members and you have to understand how to go through that. And there are these constant hurdles that we are overcoming. Life doesn't become easier when we start a business. It actually becomes a lot more stressful, at least in the initial stages. Now, you can pacify a business, but there are not many businesses out there that enable you to do that within the first 6 to 12 months. You're gonna have to put in a lot of upfront work. And so you need to be ready for that. And you need to be prepared for that. And you need to understand why you want to put yourself through that. Because if you don't, then you're gonna quit your job, you're gonna try starting a business, you're gonna realize it's hard, and then you're gonna end up back in employment with a broken ego, maybe having to go back to your boss with your tail between your legs. But that's something that drove me. I knew I was never gonna give my boss the satisfaction of going back to employment. When he said to me, Jordan, I'm not sure your business is gonna work. I don't think that I see longevity in your plan, when I heard them words, there was no chance I was ever going to give him that satisfaction of me not succeeded. And that drove me. But I also understood my why. And I understood that I wanted to provide for my friends and my family. I understood that I wanted to build a legacy and an empire. And I wanted to build generational wealth for my family name. And I also, down the line, want to start a life of philanthropy. I want to start a charity and an environmental business. I understood my whys and what I wanted to achieve and why I was doing this in the first place. So I really want you to check yourself with that and understand why you want to quit your job first before you make that decision. I actually have a video, and I'll put a link somewhere around here, maybe we'll put a link in the description, about finding your why. If you don't understand that yet, then go and watch that after this video. I think it will really help you out. Risk assessment. How do we assess our risk? Well, the main thing that we need to understand is our finances. You need to understand the ins and outs of every figure going in and out of your bank account. When I was working in that job and I knew I wanted to quit, I created a spreadsheet, and I would advise you all doing the same. And I took my last 3 months' bank statements, and I jotted down every single transaction going out. That was a regular transaction, okay? My phone bill, my car, my rent, how much I was spending on food, I added that all up, okay? Meals out, but also my grocery bill. I figured out exactly what I was spending on every single subscription, from Netflix to Amazon Prime. And I knew exactly the number that I needed to earn to be able to cover all of those outgoings. But even more than that, we need to understand which of those things are unnecessary. Because if I waited to cover my entire outgoings, and I think at the time my outgoings total was like 3K a month, okay? Quite a lot of outgoings. I was quite foolish in the way I spent money when I was younger. But that's just our total figure, our total cost of living, the lifestyle that we're living right now. But as human beings, we naturally base our lifestyle on the amount of money we are earning. And so there's a lot of unnecessary costs within that amount. And so what I did was I looked at all those unnecessary costs and I wrote them all down on this spreadsheet. The amount of money I was spending on clothes, on going out drinking with my friends, on meals out every single week. And I subtracted that from the total amount to actually establish what my minimum cost of living was, a comfortable lifestyle. Now, I didn't get rid of absolutely everything. This was still a comfortable amount, but I went through financial analysis. I understood my figures. I understood where I was wasting money, and I came up with my bare minimum outgoing cost. I came up with a figure that I knew I needed to reach in order for me to quit my job. And so I set my sights on that figure and said, when I earn this much within my business, I will quit my job and take the risk to go out on my own. And I would recommend you doing the same. So to summarize, write down on a spreadsheet all of your incomings and outgoings over the course of 3 months, okay? You've got your total amount of expenditure to live your lifestyle right now. Okay, then get rid of all of the unnecessary things. You don't have to live a life of poverty, okay? You can just get rid of the unnecessary things. You can still live a comfortable lifestyle, but reduce it down to have your minimum monthly outgoings that you are comfortable with, and set that as your goal to earn within your business before you go ahead and quit your job. Some of you, though, might still be living with your parents. You might have no outgoings whatsoever, no risk whatsoever, and in fact, you're in a position where you probably can just quit your job outright and go all in on your business. If you do not have any outgoings, if you do not have any financial obligations, if you do not have any dependents, then your risk assessment is easy, okay? There's really not an awful lot of risk. So you might as well go ahead and just quit and go all in on the business if you have the passion and the drive and a strong enough why to drive you forward. So go through risk assessment, understand your current position, understand who depends on you, and understand the figure that you need to earn in order to quit your job with minimal risk. Now, if any of you have any questions about your personal situation that I haven't covered today, then drop a comment below and I'll get back to all your questions. And that is it from me. Subscribe for more. Cheers.